Andre Tippett was a All-Pro linebacker for the New England Patriots for 11 seasons, from 1982 to 1993. The former second-round pick made name for himself in the league as one of the best linebackers of all time. He's the Patriots' all-time leader in sacks with 100 to his name, helping make himself one of the greatest Patriots defenders in the history of the team. Andre Bernard Tippett was born on December 27, 1959 in Birmingham, Alabama. He went to Barringer High School in Newark, New Jersey, where after some time spent in community college, he would transfer to the University of Iowa. Tippett was an All-American defensive end and a two-time All-Big Ten selection, getting 2 nods in 1980 and 1981. In 1981, he helped lead the Hawkeyes to their first winning season, their first Big Ten title, and their first Pro Bowl in 2 decades. He was part of a defense that allowed only 129 points, the lowest total since 1965, and 9th best in school history, and allowed only 86.9 rushing yards a game, which still stands as the school record. In 1981, Iowa defense allowed 253 total yards a game, the fewest since 1959, making it the 4th best in school history in terms of total yards. Against Northwestern on October 3, 1981, the Hawkeyes defense allowed 78 total yards, which stands as 6th best in defensive performances in team history. He holds the Iowa record for tackles for lost yardage in a season, with 20 tackles for 153 yards lost in 1980. He played in the Hula Bowl and the Japan Bowl in 1982 after his senior year. He was voted a defensive end on Iowa's all-time football team in 1989, as is a member of the University of Iowa's Varsity Hall of Fame. Upon induction to the Varsity Hall of Fame, Tippett remarked, "For me, it's a wow. It is really, really special to be voted by your peers and the people who saw you play. I'm going in with some of the greatest people to ever play sports at the University of Iowa. This is one of the greatest honors I have ever had. This is special feeling because during the 3 years I was there, I developed a great bond with the players and coaches." Tippett was drafted by the New England Patriots in the second round of the 1982 NFL Draft. Tippett is a member of the NFL's 1980s All-Decade Team and was selected to 5 Pro Bowls in his career, earning the nod in 5 straight seasons from 1984 to 1988. From 1984 to 85, Tippett recorded the highest 2-season sack total by a linebacker in NFL history, totaling 35 sacks during the 2 seasons. His 18.5 sacks in 1984 are the 3rd most by any linebacker in a single season, while his 16.5 sacks in 1985 are tied for the 6th most by any linebacker in an NFL season. Tippett holds the Patriots' franchise record with 100 career sacks. He also owns the top 3 single-season sack performances in Patriots history, with 18.5 in 1984, 16.5 in 1985, and 12.5 in 1987. He ranked 7th on the all-time sacks list and 3rd among linebackers at the time of his retirement following the 1993 season. Over his career, Tippett recorded 100 sacks in 151 games, an average of 0.662 sacks per game. The mark currently ranks 4th in NFL history among linebackers. After not recording a sack as a rookie in 1982, Tippett finished either 1st or 2nd on the team in sacks in each of his final 10 seasons. He led the team in sacks 6 times and finished 2nd on the team 4. Tippett recorded 30 multiple sack games in his career and sacked a total of 41 different quarterbacks. Tippett recovered 18 opponents' fumbles during his career, tying him for 1st on the Patriots' all-time list with Steve Nelson, forcing 17 fumbles of his own his career on top of that. Tippett was named the AFC's Linebacker of the Year by the NFL Players Association for 3 straight seasons from 1985 to 87. He was voted to the Associated Press All-NFL First Team on 2 occasions in 85 and 87, and Second Team on 2 other occasions in 86 and 88. He was also named to the NFL Films All-Pro Team in 1984. Tippett spent his entire 11-year career with the Patriots and was a member of 3 playoff teams, including the 1985 AFC champions. Tippett was selected to the Patriots' 35th anniversary team in 1994 and was selected to the Patriots Team of the Century in 2000. He was inducted to the New England Patriots Hall of Fame in 1999 and the University of Iowa Hall of Fame in 2007. In January 2008, he was voted by a panel of former NFL players and coaches to Pro Football Weekly's all-time 3-4 defense team, along with Harry Carson, Lawrence Taylor, Randy Gradishar, Howie Long, Leroy Selman, and Curly Culp. He was named as one of 17 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame's class of 2007 and 2008. As a finalist, he joined other modern-era players and 2 players selected by the Hall of Fame Senior Committee in the pool from which the Hall of Fame class was selected. The Hall of Fame's 40-member selection committee met in Miami on February 3, 2007 to select the class of 2007. Tippett was not selected for enshrinement, but he was among the top 10 finalists. The now 44-member selection committee met in Arizona the day prior to the Super Bowl to vote on the class of 2008. Just prior, Hall of Fame running back Eric Dickerson said, "I think it is about time Andre Tippett is in the Hall of Fame." He was selected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame for the class of 2008, and he was inducted into the National Jewish Sports Hall of Fame in April 2009, and in May of 2012 he was inducted into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. From his off-the-field life, he's married to Rhonda Tippett with 3 daughters and a son, Janaea, Asia, Madison, and Kobe. Andre Tippett currently lives in Sharon, Massachusetts, and is a Pop Warner football coach, and he is the executive director of community affairs for the New England Patriots. One really interesting thing I found about Tippett was that he has studied martial arts for over 3 decades, as he holds a 6th-degree black belt in a form of karate and is certified under the Okinawa Karate-Do Association based in Okinawa, Japan. As someone who practices jiu-jitsu, it's nice to see that, you can have these insanely gifted pro athletes do martial arts, and it's not something that should just be overlooked. Andre Tippett was one of the greatest defenders in the history of the NFL, and certainly one of the best all time. He is a wrecker and a problem for offensive lines to stop, and it's great to see that he not only had such a successful career, but that he has done well in the rest of his days, something many don't take for granted. He coaches, does martial arts, and has raised a family. It's nice to see that he got to spend his whole career in New England, but also stays not too far away in Massachusetts, and even doing other forms of work for the team. Andre Tippett was someone who, if Belichick was around in the time he coached, would have been a staple of the Patriot way. Would have been amazing on that early 2000s defense. This has been Patriots of the Past, Andre Tippett.